Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
That's right, which is mainly metal music and live music. I'm one of your hosts, Brian, joined with the other host,
Karen,
Karen, what is today's topic all about?
we're going to talk about the Poison the Well show here in Chicago at Cobra Lounge.
Yes, this is our first show of 2024
Yes.
and our first show at Cobra Lounge. Cobra Lounge.
Yes.
Joining them, we had CU Space Cowboy, just the two of them. This was part of, I believe it's the You Come Before You 20th anniversary tour for Poison the Well, their album that came out
In
by that
2003.
title 20 years ago, 2003. Ticket prices, real quick, were $48.41. No fees, no tax listed. This is because we were going to Cobra Lounge, who uses Dice as sort of their ticketing distributor and sort of the app to distribute tickets and sell tickets through. Never used that app before, didn't know about it until trying to buy tickets for this. This show was sold out,
Yeah.
so we couldn't get tickets initially. And we looked on secondary markets. I really didn't think I found any on the secondary markets, but Dice had this sort of waiting list that you can sign up for. And they would notify you if somebody wanted to sell their tickets and couldn't make the show. And then you had the opportunity to buy them. And then a few days before the show, we got a text message and an email from Dice saying, like, hey, you have 20 minutes to buy these tickets if you want them.
Okay. I thought it was shorter than that, like 5 minutes. but-
No, it was about a 20-minute
Oh,
time
okay.
frame for sure.
Okay. But yeah, if you didn't act on it, though, we wouldn't
Right.
have been able to go.
Right. And they say that's for scalping, so people don't
Yeah.
scalp the tickets. It's for the people, the fans who want to go to the show can go to the show. So I don't know if that $48.41 is the original price or if there was some sort of markup for a secondary market sort of.
Like a resale type thing.
Yeah, like, all
Yeah.
right, well, we'll let you resell for a little bit of a profit, but not outrageous profits.
Unless it's they had to sell them for whatever they bought them for. But
Or
then
that too, right,
The
yeah.
fee of selling and buying or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but it is kind of cool that it's all sort of rolled into one price. I know we did a whole thing on, well, I mean, even Ticketmaster announced last year
Yeah.
in like September or something
But they were going to go to that model.
that they were going to do like no more fees and whatnot, like the hidden fees. They're going to try to get away with those. And this wasn't. It was like it's $48 a ticket, $49 a ticket, whatever, right in there. That's what you pay. There's tax and fees are rolled into that. The price is this. This is what you pay.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice, honestly. It's not bad, which is sort of why the ticket price is this weird $48.41 versus other shows where it's, $35, $30, or $42.50, something like a more solid round number that this is all inclusive.
Yeah.
And we are going to a show later this year to Cobra again. Already got tickets for that, and the price of tickets for that were also weird, where it was like $24.72.
Yeah, so I think it is probably all the fees, just they don't show them separate. It's just,
Right.
this is,
It's all part of the
price.
ticket price.
Yeah.
You're going to pay what you're going to pay. No, nothing else is going to
Yeah.
be tacked on top, which is, again, I like that idea. I like that model. And then the resale aspect is really cool too. That
Yeah.
it's
I liked how they did it because otherwise, I mean, when people resell, like some people mark them up to like $200 a ticket. If you can, like your app system can monitor that and not allow people to do that huge markup, I think it's better.
it's almost like the app is saying, you want to sell your tickets, you give them back to us and we'll try to sell them.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's just through the app. Like you just say, I want to sell these. And
Yeah.
then the app notifies whoever's on the wait list. And then they do it internally to transfer the number to you.
Yep. And you can transfer tickets as well to friends. So there's probably something under the table that you could have
There
done with
could
friends
be.
where it's like,
There could be. Yeah.
the tickets are $50 each, just give me $50 and I'll send you a ticket type thing.
Yeah.
But there was that option to like send to a friend. So I could have sent you your ticket, but we go together and I just
Yeah.
scan both of them.
Yeah.
So, all in all, though, a cool little app, a new one that we haven't ever interacted with.
Yeah,
So usually
yeah.
it's like I don't know. there's a bunch out there, but
Yeah, it's like
normally
where you could have named them
Ticketmaster.
all.
No, I was trying to think of one like Eventbrite
AXS.
or Eventbrite. Like a bunch of the bars and shit will do Eventbrite
Yeah.
for their events.
Yeah.
This is just a different sort of Eventbrite type thing, I guess. I don't know. But cool, nevertheless. But yeah, Cobra Lounge. We have been there before, not for a show, but for like dinner and shit.
Yeah. In 2021, like when things were opening back up, we went and had lunch there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other breweries around that area.
Yeah.
Goose Island's like warehouse is not far from there. So I've been there a few times, but normally just stop in. Cobra Lounge is this weird thing where I think it's El Rise is the brewery. So it's like a brewery, a restaurant, and a music venue all in one.
Yeah, like
it's
in
really
one building, yeah.
sort of this weird amalgamation of things, and they're like all things we like anyway. So it's, I don't know, it's kind of cool. We've seen posters for shows there in the past. I think Lacuna Coil was there at one point.
Okay.
I saw a poster for that.
Wait, at this show?
Not at this show. I've seen it there in the past,
Oh, okay.
but I think it was like a show from like 2011 or
Oh,
something.
okay. Okay.
So it
Yeah.
was a very old poster.
Yeah, I was just because of how this night worked out. It was one extremely cold.
Yeah,
when we
it
went,
was. Yeah.
So we didn't like spend much time like around. It's basically like we got in the door and then went straight to the room or like to the venue, and I didn't even leave from there. Like, so I didn't look around the bar. I didn't look around anywhere. And I kind of wanted to because I know that we've been to the restaurant area. Well, when we went to the restaurant area, we sat outside because, like I said, it was
The
in
patio
2021.
area.
Yeah, so it was 2021 when things were starting to open back up. And I think I went in to use the restroom or something. But other than that, like I wanted to know the flow of the building,
Okay.
from like where we sat on the patio to where we were standing for the concert.
Yeah. So like you said, we got out. It's on a corner of the street. The door's right there on the corner as well. You scan your ticket to get in. Luckily, their line wasn't that long
Yeah.
because it was fucking freezing
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
I
Even
think,
the 2 minutes we stood outside was way long.
yeah, and I think you said something like, as soon as I walked in, there was like, holy fucking shit.
You did, yeah. Like the guy was checking the IDs, and like I handed him my ID, and you're like, "Holy fucking shit!" And I wanted to be like, "That's not towards you."
No, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't towards them. It was
Yeah.
the temperature for sure.
Yeah, but I could see that they could have taken it as like, "Why do I have to show my ID?" or
Yeah.
like, or like, "Why did it take so long to get through the 4 people ahead of us?" or something.
Yeah, right past that though is where they had the merch set up. Just a few tables looked like they had thrown those together to make like a little what do you call that thing? Like a desk or a little
Oh, yeah.
serving area where you like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like a little tabletop or something.
Yeah, like they put tables together to make a table.
Yeah, whatever. And then behind them they had those shirts and shit up. Then they have the big bar next to like behind, not behind that. As you walk in, that's straight ahead of you. To your left is that big bar that goes a long ways. They have some TVs and whatnot there, I believe, because I went to get a drink one day a while ago, and they had like the old Tales from the Crypt episodes
Oh, okay.
streaming on the
Okay.
TV.
And that was in that bar area.
That was in that bar area.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you go through this like little door area, and then there's another big bar there, more tables for restaurant seating and whatnot, and then another screen that's pulled down where they're streaming shows and whatnot. I think when we went in 2021, they had like cartoons.
Yeah, I
It was
think I
like
remember
Saturday
that.
morning cartoons or something.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
And then your outside area is just past that. They have
Yeah.
sort of like a glass wall, so like inside outside room type wall that could be converted.
Yeah.
It had just snowed in Chicago, so that was covered in snow. So nobody was out there, obviously, the cold and the snow.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if during I'm saying normal days, but like when it's not negative 20-degree wind chill, if like that, if they have that open up and like people can go out and smoke or whatever.
I would imagine so. Yeah,
because
for
like
sure.
if I remember right, there's like a gate even for like the patio.
Yep.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is like if you are partaking in that, like leaving or whatever, it's like that gate's there, so it's not like you're like going in and out of the venue. You're still in the venue area.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it almost felt like the entire restaurant aspect of Cobra Lounge had been shut off.
Oh,
And
really?
it was only for the music, like if you were there.
Oh.
Although I don't know that backside of people were. I did hear when I was going to the bathroom once, somebody say something like, okay, does that mean we need to close out then? I think. I don't.
Oh.
So I don't know if like people could come in before the show started, before doors at 7 or whatnot, and get like dinner and whatnot, because it is a restaurant, like we said. And then eventually, like, all right, well, you're gonna have to go after this.
Yeah, dude, that's interesting because like when we went to Beat Kitchen to see
Bloodywood.
Bloodywood, yes. Sorry, we're both having trouble with the words today. I was wondering about that too because there were people in the booths eating when we went in for that, and I was like, wait, how do they like control this now? Like, if you were there already having a meal and there's a show going on, like, Is it like they watch you and say like you can't go past this point, or like I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, I'm not saying like you would know it, but it came to my mind during Bloodywood, and then what you're saying here, like if somebody was there having a meal at the restaurant portion, but there's no like, I don't want to say security, but there's no like, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
monitoring if you flow into the concert area.
yeah, and Beat Kitchen had an actual physical door that was closed.
Yes. Yeah.
This has doors too. If you're there for a non-show, like a non-concert and whatnot, this area is usually closed off because they have those double doors that are just closed.
Mm-hmm.
But for the entire night, they were open, and you can just freely flow in and out.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think that free flowing between the whole area made, at least in my opinion, made it feel like it wasn't so cramped in there.
Yeah, for sure. Because the actual area where the concert took place, the venue area, was actually pretty small.
It is pretty small, yeah.
Bigger than Beat Kitchen for sure, but smaller than Reggie's.
Yeah.
I don't know what, like maybe 30, 40 feet wide.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not good at that. But
Yeah, I don't know, maybe like 30, 40 feet wide,
I
and then
mean-
maybe like twice that deep.
yeah, I guess I'm thinking. Oh, so I remember when we went to St. Andrews Hall for the Metallica tributes.
Yeah, in Detroit.
Detroit, yeah. So that held about 400 people, and it's probably about the same as that.
No,
You don't
smaller.
think so?
Yeah,
You think
for
it's smaller
sure.
than St. Andrews?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't think so. I think it's about the same.
I think it's smaller. All right, we'll take a quick little break here. What would you say St. Andrews was again?
It was like 400 something.
Or something. Okay, yeah, this was a little smaller than with 300 people
Yeah.
capacity.
Yeah.
In the venue area. I don't know how many other people.
Yeah, that's true.
Like could have just been hanging out.
Yeah.
Because you could. I'm assuming you could hear the music out throughout
On
the
the
entire venue.
On the other side, yeah. Yeah.
Um,
You just don't get the feel of the music.
Yeah. But it was
Um,
definitely a small venue. Bigger again than Beat Kitchen, but still a smaller,
Yeah.
compactable
I don't know.
area.
I felt like it was about the same as St. Andrews, but Beat Kitchen was 140 something, I think.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's double that size, but a little bit less than St. Andrews.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess.
The stage itself too was pretty small.
It was, yeah.
Um,
It really reminded me of the Headbanger Boat Cruise, the not the Atrium one, but the one that was like Magnums or whatever.
oh, the one that's down by the cigar lounge by the casino.
Yeah. It reminded me
Yeah.
of that stage a lot, where it's like just a short ceiling, and I even watched the performers like, like
Grab up.
on the ceiling, or what are those called? Like not the ceiling, but like the beams or whatever.
Okay. Like the rafters and
Yeah,
whatnot.
the rafters. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Don't remember if I saw that. It wasn't to me. I get what you're saying, like in terms of like I don't want to say claustrophobic, but like this very small, intimate sort of. The walls are very close together. The ceiling's not super high. Definitely was a little bit higher than that Magnus.
Yeah.
But it was all sort of compact all together. Really kind of.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the space.
I
did
did too. Yeah.
It almost kind of felt like this used to be an outside area that they may have converted because the
maybe.
brick was different between the wall we were by
Yeah.
on stage left than the brick that was surrounding like where that door was and the other
yeah.
wall.
Yeah. And the cement or the floor is like that
Yeah.
cement. I did not like the floor.
Because it was just
I-
like poured down cement almost.
Yeah,
It wasn't
and it was-
level.
It wasn't level. It was kind of like a hard to get your footing sometimes because it wasn't level. But
Yeah, I don't know. It was a really cool aesthetic for sure.
It is,
I
yeah,
did like it quite a bit.
yeah,
Um,
it'll be interesting when we go back to see a different type of show there that possibly won't have as many people. I don't know.
last I saw it wasn't sold out, but the tickets just went on sale for
Yeah.
that, so I don't know if it will sell out.
Yeah,
Um,
we should try to stand in a different spot to get a different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is also so this show, and I think that one is also a Riot Fest Presents show.
Oh, okay.
So I don't remember seeing those in the past, outside of like last year maybe, where it was Riot Fest Presents and then a band.
Oh.
Sort of, they've been doing a lot more of those, I feel like. I don't
Oh, I
remember
remember
it from the
seeing 'em.
past.
I remember seeing them in like 2018, 2019.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah. We just weren't really following as many things, but I remember seeing that. But it's probably because I followed Riot Fest on Facebook, so
Maybe,
I probably saw
okay.
those ads. Yeah.
But I'm seeing a lot more of them now, which is really cool. I think a lot of them are selling out also, which
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah.
Cobra Lounge is also I don't want to say a big sponsor, but they they are a part of Riot Fest in terms of one of the bars I think is named after
I think so. Yeah.
Cobra Lounge, just like Bottom Lounge has one of the bar sections. I was gonna say that they had the stage names, but the stages aren't that. They're like the Riot, the
Yeah.
Rays,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff
I
like
think the
that.
bars are, or like the bar stands are the
Yep.
names. Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. You kind of know what kind of music to expect if it's a Riot Fest presents,
Yeah.
which
It's
is
a little bit different than
yeah.
metal,
Well, sometimes like this was I would definitely call this music metal,
punk and metal.
punk metal. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think hardcore is
Yeah.
the,
Yeah, the first band-
genre.
The first band was hardcore punk, and then Poison the Well, I think, is like metal, but punk aspects.
Definitely
Yeah.
some punk aspects. But all in all, the venue kind of a cool little spot.
I can't believe it's been so long, or we've been here for so long, and we haven't went to Cobra Lounge.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Reggie's when we went last year for the
Yeah.
first time. I was like, I can't believe we haven't been to Reggie's yet.
Yeah.
I think we've got a few shows also this year at Bottom Lounge.
Yes.
I've been there a couple times.
You
You've
have.
never been there.
Yep.
So
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see what you think of that comparing. Because, I mean, I think of Reggie's, Bottom Lounge, and Cobra Lounge all in sort of the same vein in terms of music style and venue aesthetics and whatnot.
What do you mean music style, though?
What you can expect to see there.
Oh.
You're going to get some punky stuff. You're going to get some EDM stuff. You're going to get some...
Okay.
You're not going to get your mainstream stuff that you'd see at
Like
like
big
House of
bands.
Blues
Yeah.
and stuff like that. This is
Yeah.
going to be the smaller bands that aren't going to have that can't sell out those particular
Yeah.
venues.
Yeah. I get what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and again, they're all sort of Riot Fest sponsors are a big part of Riot Fest. At least when I think of Riot Fest. So, knowing what kind of music's at Riot Fest, I can expect to see that style of music at those venues as well.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see when you get there to compare that against the other two.
The Bottom Lounge.
The Bottom Lounge,
Yeah.
Before we get into the actual music, anything else you wanted to say about the venue?
I really have no thoughts of it because I didn't move very much. I literally walked in and stood.
But I mean, outside of that, like even looking back the last times we went for food and stuff, any thoughts that you...
Oh, I just remember that one time I was sitting outside
Okay.
on the patio. Did I go more than that? Because that's the only time I ever remember being there.
That might be the only time you've been there, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it. And I mean, we were like the only people there. And so it was kind of interesting. But like I said, it was 2021 when things weren't really open.
Yeah. All right, so I guess getting into the music then, we started with See You Space Cowboy, all one word. Why don't you start us off with the set list that they had?
Sure. They started with Life as a Soap Opera Plot, 26 years running. Misinterpreted Constellations. Melodrama between two entirely bored individuals. The end to a brief moment of lasting intimacy. Disdain coupled with a wide smile. I am a transcontinental railroad. Please run a train on me. Armed with their teeth. Self-help specialist ends own life. Rhythm and Rapture. And then the next song is on the set list. It was listed as 30, but on Setlist FM, it's unknown, so we're not quite sure what that song is. Followed by Chewing the Scenery, Late December, and then they ended with 911 Call, Help, I've Overdosed on Philosophy. All the names are very long.
All the names are very long. I kind of like it.
Yeah. We saw a band last year that had really, really long names, and we were like...
I can't remember who that was
Oh,
either.
I can't either, but it was so much fun to like read the names of their songs.
I want to say it was Glory Hammer, possibly.
Possibly.
But it was like this long novel of a...
Yeah. Where
of,
I'm like,
the song names are just this long novel.
yeah. And I was like, I remember having that conversation. I was like, well, you could name this song like almost the same thing, just cut out some words. Like you don't need a full sentence for a song name.
Yeah,
But,
like
I mean,
911 Call, Help, I've been overdosed on philosophy. It could just be overdosed on philosophy.
yeah.
So you could definitely shorten these down, but at the same time, like,
Why?
yeah, it's kind of fun. I like it.
Yeah. What's the point to do that?
A band I had no idea anything about going
No.
into it.
I've never heard of them. Never known anything about them.
Yeah, and again, this was such a small venue. We were standing over on stage left, and the band walks right by us
Yeah.
to get
yeah.
on stage. I didn't even know they were in the band, just a bunch of people walking straight up.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw them go by, and I just assumed they were probably in the band because I'm like, why would like 4 or 5 people be walking together?
Yeah.
Like through the crowd like that. So
But that was kind of cool. Get up on stage and start playing. Good energy, good vibe. I liked it a lot. I liked the sound a lot. There were moments where when the lead singer wasn't singing and you had your other backup singer, I'll say like the bass would sing a lot.
yeah.
That bit sounded a little emo-y to me at times.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't the biggest fan of that. I'm not really a big fan of sort of like the emo sound or
Yeah.
anything. And I don't know. It felt, the vocals felt very emo to me.
Oh, okay. Maybe I like emo because I liked that.
And then when the lead singer came on and screamed, I liked that more than the emo-y bits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It was a good mix though on between how their vocal sound together like was interesting with the songs.
yeah, it was. I did like that. I'm just saying, like the little emo-y
Yeah,
bits.
yeah, I understand what you're saying.
But I did think, I agree with you. It did feel very well put together in terms of a musical composition and whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really liked it a lot. Like I said, the energy in the crowd was good. Their energy on stage was good. It was a small stage, but they all fucking bounced around
Yeah.
and moved a lot, and they used every inch of that stage and put on a fucking phenomenal performance
Yeah.
for sure.
I was gonna look. So the lead vocalist had a broken arm or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So they performed the entire show with a sling. And I think a cast and stuff, like you can kind of see it through the sling. But I kind of wanted to look at their Instagram or something and see if they had anything listed as to what happened or when it happened or whatever. But I forgot. So
I quickly skimmed through, I think, last night after the show, and and didn't see anything,
see
but also
anything.
didn't really look super
Yeah.
deep.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. I was just, at first when I saw them come on stage in like a sling, I was like, I hope they're not a guitar player or something. That would be interesting. But
did you also notice the photographer
yes.
jumping around?
Yes, I was going to say that. So in the first song, did you notice that the photographer sang?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up too.
I was like, that is so interesting.
And I was really curious. Like, I also don't know Poison the Well. Never seen them.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if this was sort of like a Randy type thing where
Oh,
Randy
yeah.
also films, like shoots photography and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
If this was somebody in Poison the Well who also is really big into photography and just like, I'm going to do some photos.
Yeah.
And then do a guest vocal aspect. They weren't in Poison the Well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I found that out later on. But then, yeah, it was kind of weird that your photographer is also doing a singing, like a vocal bit.
A vocal part. Yeah.
I don't understand what that relationship is. There's clearly a relationship there with the band to jump on stage and sing this bit.
Yeah.
But I did notice that and thought that was a little weird, but also kind of cool.
Yeah. When it happened during the first song, I was like, oh, maybe this will be like just a reoccurring, or was it the first song or second song?
It was at the beginning. I don't know if it was necessarily
Yeah.
the first song or the second, but
No,
it was
I'm
definitely
thinking about
close to
that.
the beginning.
Yeah. But anyways, I thought maybe it'd be more of a reoccurring thing, but just that one song.
Yep, just the one song, the one little bit. And then just popping around stage taking photos. Notice it every now and then because you get the flash.
Yeah.
Um,
And I don't remember that from other photographers, because I mean, a lot of bands have photographers on the stage, or like the venue has photographers on the stage. I just don't remember the flash during those. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
I
is
don't
that
honestly
something that
think
was
either.
just this one person
Maybe.
using the flash? But
Otherwise, I don't know what else to say. This is definitely a band I want to check out again
I do
live.
too. Yeah, it's made me think a lot about the musical style of more punk, because we saw Wargasm last year like 3 times, I think, right? Or 4 times? 3 times. And I didn't necessarily care for the punk aspect of their band, but listening to this, I enjoyed this a lot more, and they're considered hardcore punk. So I'm like, what is it about? Like, because I was like, I really don't like punk, and I don't want to really check out very many punk bands because I don't like it. But I was going off of what Wargasm had. So now seeing them, I'm like, maybe we should check out more punk bands because I kind of like it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that same boat where I am not the biggest fan of punk also. Even listening to Wargasm, we added them to this playlist last year. And another thing to bring up is first show of 2024, CU Space Cowboys and Poison the Well, the first 2 bands
Yeah.
on our
Yep.
playlist this year, which looking at the last 2 years, who are our first bands? So in 2023, our first 3 bands were Exodus, Black Label Society, and Anthrax for that first show.
Yep.
And then 2022, when we started doing this, we had Avatar.
And I think that was our first show of the year, right? Because we went back and added Avatar to it.
Avatar was the first show that year.
Yeah.
We didn't like the openers, so we didn't add them. I can't remember who they were at this point.
Yeah, I don't remember. We kind of stopped doing that. Well, that was 68, right?
No, that was not that one.
Not that show? Oh, okay.
Then we had also that year, the second band is Volbeat, followed by Ghost on that playlist.
Yeah.
We were also a lot more. So the playlist is when we see a live show, we get their set list from Setlist FM, or if they post it on like social media or something, or if we're lucky enough to get a set list or get a photo of somebody with the set list, we can then add it on.
Yeah.
But it's the set list we heard at that particular show. If we see them again later in the year, we're only add net new songs. We're not going to add those songs like duplicate songs, and only bands or sets we liked. So when we first started this in 2022, we were very picky. If we didn't like your set, we're not throwing you on there.
Yeah, like even if we didn't like one part of it, we're like, no.
2023 rolls around. We started out a little picky like that as well, but then we're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's start throwing more stuff on there.
I think there's only a couple of bands in 2023 that we didn't add.
I think so. And then 2024, we'll see what happens with this year's set list, but I'm assuming we're going to add almost everything.
I think so, yeah. I love across, I mean, we're in our third year of doing these set lists now, but like I love how our musical tastes have changed, and even just our openness to new music has changed. It's really fun to see that evolving over the time.
Yeah, and like I said, getting back to what I was saying before diving into the set lists, Wargasm was a band we added to the set list. You weren't a fan of it, I was, so I was like, fuck it, let's add it. This year again, if we ran into that occurrence this year, it'd probably be let's just throw them on the set list and listen. I've listened to their music on Spotify on this when it spins up on the shuffles up. I'll listen to it. I'll just search it every now and then and listen to Wargasm. I'm not the biggest fan of their music on Spotify. Their music, their live performance, their live show, I love so much.
Oh, okay.
So I agree where the punk aspect of things, I'm not the biggest fan of punk music itself. I'm possibly diving more into that and exploring that a little bit more. But from a recorded standpoint, not the biggest fan. But live, I really like the live performances. And same thing here. Added CU Space Cowboy to the playlist. We'll listen to it and see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting
how it comes across.
Yeah. I think you really need the musical or the energy of the stage and everything to get the full picture and not just listen to it on Spotify.
Right.
Yeah.
So this could be one of those where I don't like listening to it on Spotify, but I'd love to see them again because of the stage performance and the crowd interaction.
Yeah.
Not the crowd interaction. There really wasn't much, if any.
No,
there was
really.
A little bit,
yeah. A little bit here and there.
But the crowd energy interacting with the band and sort of that cyclical thing we've talked about in the past of like feeding off of each other is really, really cool. And I don't know, I had a blast watching these guys play.
Yeah, I would agree.
Um,
So transition to Poison the Well.
Yeah, Poison the Well.
I did listen to them on Spotify.
You did, yes.
So you got these tickets on like Tuesday or Wednesday this week, right?
Yeah,
so like
that.
3 days before the show.
Yeah.
And as soon as you said that you got tickets, I was like, okay, I'm going to look them up because I'm kind of going back and forth where I really like seeing a band for the first time and not knowing their music to get a good the first impression. I shouldn't say good impression, the first impression that way. But this time I was like, oh, let me listen to them a little bit because they are going to be on Headbanger Boat this year as well. And I was like, oh, let me just listen to them a little bit. I listened to like 4 songs and I was like, I don't like this. And on Spotify, it was like only one of the songs that they played last night was one of them that I listened to. But on Spotify, it's just so much slower and more like clean melodic vocals and stuff. And I was just like, I don't like this. And maybe their later albums are more that way, and that's why it came across that way. But the show was totally different. So I think I'm back to I don't want to check out music before I go like seeing them.
I'm definitely on. I'm torn with that as well. I'm still on I'm still in the boat of if I don't know who the band is and I'm going to see them live, I would prefer the live experience to be my first exposure to the band and not the recorded experience.
Yeah.
But I also don't like if I knew the music going in, it would enhance the live
Yeah.
experience, right?
Yeah, because from what you just said there, that's kind of where I'm thinking, because like seeing everybody last night who knows their music and was like singing and
Yeah.
like, I mean, even there's one, I don't even know what song it is, but there's one song where it like starts out so melodic and then it just drops and everybody was ready and like the pit was just going and stuff. And I was like, that's where I like seeing bands where I know their music.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a toss up of like,
Yeah,
what
I'm
do
the
you
same
do?
way too. Like I don't know what to do, but I'm still I think firmly on the side of I'd rather see it live for
See
the
it live
first time.
first. Well, I mean, now we have it on the playlist and we can listen to it for the boat and like
And check out more of their music
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they put on a fucking awesome show. It was
Yes.
another great fucking show.
Yes.
I was a little hesitant going into it based on your coming out and being like,
I know.
I didn't like it. It's not that good.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck. All right. Well, this is going to suck.
Yeah. I thought
But
the
then
same
it started
thing.
and it's like, oh, wait, no, this is awesome. I don't know
Yeah.
what Karen's
I thought-
problem is.
I think it's just the songs that came up on Spotify to listen to. Because I didn't like search out their album or anything. I just played what was on Spotify. But I was the same way where I'm like, oh, I don't like this on Spotify. We're going to see him this weekend. And then we're going to have to see him again on the boat. Like, you know. But I really wish I wouldn't have checked him out and just had this be my first thought. I mean, I'm super excited to see him on the boat.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to picture, like, what stages they're going to be on and, like, you know, what are they going to play? Are they going to play this again because it's their 20th anniversary of? Well, I mean, it's 21st year anniversary, I guess, now. But, like,
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about that then real quick. It was the 20th anniversary tour for the You Come Before You album. And I think I saw when I was putting them on our spreadsheet that we have for our music that we're tracking, you know, who we're seeing, where we're seeing, and like how much the tickets are. I was trying to find the name of the tour, and I saw that was like, oh, they're going to play the album in its entirety, which I have thoughts on that as well. Especially if I know the album, I don't like it because
Yeah.
it sort of like structures how the concert's going to go. And
yeah.
all right, you're going to play the album, and you might play one or two more songs, you might not, and then it's just over.
It's over, yeah.
So that's not kind of I don't enjoy that, and sometimes they'll play in order.
Was
Like-
this in order?
So this was not even the entire album.
Oh,
they
really?
played 12 tracks, which I think is what the album has on it as well.
Yeah. That's interesting. Okay.
But it wasn't the entire album.
Okay.
It was a quick fucking concert.
Oh, yeah.
40 minutes or so.
Yes. So, CU Space Cowboy played for about 40 minutes, and then they went on at 9:07. Even though I think the thing at the door said 9:15,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they went on at 9:07, and they were done by 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because they had like a little showtime out above the bar where it was 8 to 8:45 was CU Space Cowboy, 9:15
Yeah.
to end was
Yeah.
Poison the Well, which is kind of cool.
And in my mind, I'm like, okay, they start at 9:15. They'll play until probably 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking.
10:30ish,
10:30.
10:40.
Well, maybe at 10:30, then they do the whole, like, let's introduce the band,
Yeah.
and then let's play a couple more songs, and then it's over at 11. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it kind of just ended,
Yeah.
and we kind of both look at each other like,
Yeah.
it's not over, is it? And then
Like-
the house lights come on, and like, oh no, it is over.
Yeah, they played the last song, and then they're like, thank you. And then they started, like, tearing stuff down and, like,
We didn't even get into the set list yet.
okay, let's
do that real quick.
Okay. Yeah. So they started with Zombies Are Good for Your Health, Rings from Corona, Ghost Chants, Boccia, Crystal Lake, Slice Paper Wrists, Loved Ones, excerpts from speeches of how great you were and will never be again, Horns and Tails, artist rendering of me, For a Bandaged Iris, Apathy is a Cold Body, and they ended with Nerdy.
So yeah, super quick set list, 12 songs. Again, the same, essentially, number of tracks and length of
Yeah.
You Come Before You.
Yeah, because I think right after they got done, like when the lights were on and everything, and I looked up the album and it was like 43 minutes long. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably the whole album. Like, it's probably over.
Yeah. They also played the night before in Chicago at Metro. At
Yes,
the Metro, which is also a
yes.
sold out show.
Yes. Did they play the same?
They
Did you
did
look-
not. So
Oh, interesting.
Metro has a longer set with an additional 6 songs.
interesting.
And they did play the entire album in its entirety at the Metro.
Ah, so this was kind of just. So this was the second show that was added on. Metro was announced first.
Was it announced first, or were they both sort of like always going to be there? Was it like, we sold Metro out so quick, let's do another one?
I think Metro was announced first, and then they added this one, added Cobra Lounge. But maybe not.
See, I could see that happening for sure. That's happened a few times. Spirit Box did it last year. There's been a few other bands that have sold out their first night here in Chicago, and then like, all right, let's tack on a second night.
Or they do it in many. I mean, some cities bands play 3 or 4 nights.
Yeah, LA is a good example of that. I know.
Yeah, and I mean, but often I see that they play the same songs.
Yeah.
Like the same set list over and over and over. So I do have to say though, there was a handful of people that were at Metro and Cobra Lounge.
Because it was a call out, like how many people were with us last night. There was a good number of people who went to both shows.
So it is kind of cool for them to have a different experience of the night.
Yeah, I mean it is, but at the same time I kind of feel gypped a little bit in terms of $43 for a smaller set.
Yeah. But how much was the Metro tickets?
I don't know. Those sold out, so
see,
you'd have to buy those on the secondary. I never looked to see what those would cost. I don't know. I did feel like this set was very short.
It was very short.
I wish it would have been a little longer. If it was the same set list, or same set as it was the night before at the Metro, the same 18 songs in the same order. I'm kind of torn on that because I agree with you. For the people who go to both shows, it's kind of cool to have a unique experience, and that's sort of what Metallica's trying to do, right, with their M72 tour of 2 shows in the same city, each one having a different set because their catalog's so deep.
Right.
The thing is, though, even this set at Cobra Lounge and the one the night before at the Metro, there's a lot of overlap across both of those set lists. If not everything on one night was on the other night. I didn't check that far out.
Kind of looks like it. Like they just cut songs from Cobra Lounge that they played at the Metro.
Yeah, for sure. Which I don't know. I mean, I don't know where they're at. We're recording this on Sunday, the day after the show. I don't know if they're at another city and wanted to get out and, quickly.
I don't know if that's why, or if Cobra had like different rules or like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I just know that there's some neighborhoods who have rules of like, oh, you can only have so many late night events or something like that.
Wrigley does for sure. I don't know if there's other neighborhoods that do that also, especially like outdoor venues for sure. But like inside, this is inside. You have no neighbors.
Well, yeah, I'm just thinking like we've been to shows at Riviera and Aragon, and I always wondered if that's a neighborhood thing too, where sometimes it starts at like 5 o'clock and you're done by 9:30.
Yeah, my thought on that is school nights, and they want to get the children back to bed so they can get to school.
I don't think they care.
But there have been those shows at those venues too.
Each neighborhood. So I did learn that each neighborhood has their own rules and laws.
To some extent,
or not neighborhood, but what's it called? Like a ward?
Each ward.
Yeah.
Yeah, with your aldermans and whatnot.
Yeah.
Anyway, Chicago politics, don't really know.
I don't know much about it either.
Not sure what the reason or rationale was for such a short set. But that was my only negative all night was how short the set was.
Yeah.
And the cold, but nobody can control that. So.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
the bands can. The bands can only play on warm days.
The vibe from the crowd really filled in for Poison the Well. The floor for the pit was massive for CU Space Cowboy. It got pretty consolidated for Poison the Well. There was still a pit for sure.
Yeah, I thought it opened back up to pretty massive.
From what I could see, At times it did for sure, but it wasn't like the way the night started for CU Space Cowboys was this giant circle was just there and stayed there. For Poison the Well, it was more condensed, and at times it would open back up, but there were more people in there moshing. It would consolidate down and whatnot. Really kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Also, people would run up on stage and jump off of stage.
I have never seen stage diving at a show, like live at a show. I've seen like on videos and stuff from like the 90s and things, but I've never seen from.
And maybe it's just like a hardcore thing that you do during hardcore shows.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I feel about that and how I like it. I don't know. Just the smaller venues for sure.
Yeah. So I'm reading Randy Blythe's book from when he went to, what's it called, Darkest Days?
His Darkest Days memoir.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm reading that, and that's how the show in the Czech Republic in 2010 was.
People just running up on stage and jumping off.
Diving off, yeah. Yeah, or 2012.
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't read the book yet. I'm going to read it when you're
Yeah,
done.
yeah. But anyways, so that's how the show was, where unfortunately a fan died.
Yeah.
And that's what the whole book's about. But
I mean, we were at a show, I think it was a Lamb of God Megadeth show in Peoria, and there was like a fan saying, all right, I think it was Megadeth, like when they start, we're going to jump the fence and get on stage. And I'm thinking in my head, like, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Do not
Yeah.
rush the stage. Don't fucking go on stage. Don't fucking do that. It's not funny. It's not a joke. Like,
yeah.
stay the fuck off the goddamn stage. This is a little different, I guess.
Yeah, this was a venue that doesn't have a rail.
Yeah.
Like the rail is the stage. So that's really cool. We've been to quite a few venues now. Well, not quite a few. Handful
Yeah.
of venues that are like this. I like it. I like the aspect of being,
You're super close to the band.
Yeah.
And the cool thing was the people who were doing that, they're not like getting up there and high-fiving and like patting
Right,
everybody
right.
on the back and whatnot. Like, oh my God, I'm with the band. It's there's steps to the stage. I run over to the steps, get up, run from those steps to the edge, and then jump into the crowd.
Yeah.
Don't talk to the band. Don't wave at the band. Don't do shit with
Yeah.
the band. Just
Yeah.
boom, boom, on.
There was one person that ran behind the guitar player, and I was like, oh my gosh, if you would have tripped or I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I saw that, but there was one time also I saw somebody jump from the stage into the crowd and then get pushed back up onto the
Oh, I
stage.
saw that,
got
yeah.
pushed over like by the
Yeah.
guitar, pushed
Yeah.
back on the stage, and they had to run around the guitar to get out of their way and then jump back in.
Maybe I saw the second half of that. So, but
yeah.
anyways,
Um,
I don't know. It was fun. It was fun to watch.
it was fun. I don't know what I think about
Yeah.
running on stage and jumping off. Like
Yeah,
I say stay off the fucking stage.
I would agree with you there.
But again, it's a hardcore show. We've never really been to hardcore shows.
Yeah.
So maybe that's just common and that's what you do and it's expected. I know at Riot Fest, there was a whole thing with a hardcore band that was there where they're like, get up on fucking stage.
Oh, really?
Like they called out for
Yeah.
the fans to get on stage. And like security was like, oh my God, I don't know the fuck to do. And
Well, because as security, you're told
don't get on. Don't
don't
people,
let anybody on the stage,
Yeah.
and now the band's saying get up on the fucking stage.
Yeah, and that's
Like,
another point too. We were at a Lamb of God Disturbed show in Milwaukee.
Oh yeah,
And there was a security, like the head of security, training a new kid and being like, I don't want you looking at the band. You're looking forward into the crowd. If you see something, raise a hand. Let us all know. If you need help, let us know. We're all here to help each other. But the number one rule is nobody gets on my fucking stage.
Yeah.
If they start going toward the stage, you fucking take them down.
Yeah.
They're not getting on my stage.
yeah,
And I guess I could just go back to like Dimebag. And it's like, yeah, don't get on the fucking stage.
yeah,
I don't know. That was
yeah. That whole thing with Lamb of God and Disturbed, I took that as these people are fucking wild. They're gonna try to get on the stage. Like I felt like it was like against the fans. But then again, I'd never been to a show where somebody had been on the stage, so I'm like, who the fuck do you think we are? Like, we're not gonna just charge the stage.
Yeah, I definitely didn't take it that way.
I
took
did,
it more as
but yeah,
like the stage is off limits.
yeah, yeah.
No one
But
gets on.
Every band is like, well, every show. So, minus this one, every show we've been to, even if you're crowd surfing or whatever, as soon as you get done, like I'm saying get done, but like when they help you down,
You get over the rail.
oh, you get
into
over
that
the
little
rail. Yeah, there's like that
walkway.
little walkway, and then you not all the time get like escorted, but pretty much like they're like watching you leave.
You
like,
leave this way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like they prevent people from getting on the stage. So it's just something we haven't seen.
Yeah.
We haven't witnessed something like this.
And again, it could just be normal. And
Yep.
I'm not saying it was bad or anything. It was just sort of like, oh, what the
Yeah.
fuck? I've never experienced this.
Yeah.
And again, though, it was super cool to see the people who were doing it of just being like, not interfering with the band
Yeah,
or
yeah.
not trying to like
Yeah.
get their attention. It was simply, I'm gonna go have some fun.
Yeah.
And the band's here. They're not saying shit about it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
And the crowd surfing was fun because like they were going up, because like you're saying, like they were jumping off the stage onto the crowd, and then it's like they were being crowd surfed backwards.
Yep.
Instead of like towards the stage. It was really fun. I don't know. I enjoyed watching the crowd more than watching the band, I think.
The crowd was fucking awesome. Which again, we talked about that with CU Space Cowboys and just in general of the crowd feeds off the band feeds off the crowd. It was definitely that energy going on
Yeah.
all night long, and the crowd was fucking phenomenal. No chitter chatter at all.
Oh, I heard a lot.
Oh, I didn't hear
Yeah,
it.
I did.
I didn't hear much at
I
all,
think
if any.
I don't know. I need to like, maybe I just need to wear earplugs and then I won't hear it.
I guess I didn't hear the chitter
Yeah,
chatter like we
okay.
always do. I mean, definitely in between the bands and shit, yeah, but like
Yeah.
no. Otherwise,
Like,
there
there
was
was
the
two gu-
singing like you were talking about.
Yeah. There was two guys in front of me that were like screaming at each other during the entire first band, but
I don't remember that at all,
okay.
so I don't know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
But from other shows we've been to,
Oh yeah. So much. Yeah.
the crowd was awesome. The music was awesome. The venue
Yeah.
was awesome. Yeah, all in all, super awesome time. 2 new bands that I really like.
Yeah.
I'll listen to them again on Spotify to see what I think.
Yeah. I think now like hear them on Spotify, you can picture them performing or, you know, like the crowd aspect and everything. And it gives it a different feel or vibe.
But we'll see if this is a similar thing for me, like Wargasm was, where I prefer the live
Yeah.
show better
Yeah.
than the recorded.
Yeah.
The thing with Wargasm is the recording just doesn't give off the same energy to me.
Right. Right.
It's kind
Yeah.
of not flat, but it falls a little flat compared to
Yeah.
seeing them live.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's-
I'm afraid that's what's going to happen here.
Yeah, so that's kind of my thought when I listened to them on like Wednesday or whatever on Spotify. I was just like, ugh, I don't like the, I don't know, like that it is just kind of flat and kind of melodic singing on top of music, you know, like, but hearing it, it just has so much more depth and
Yeah.
everything. So
Seeing it, you mean?
yeah, seeing it. Is that what I
You
said?
said hearing it.
Oh no, seeing it. Sorry. Yeah, seeing it live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hearing it live, maybe. I don't know. One of the two.
Hearing and seeing it live.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
The live
Sorry.
experience. No, it's all
Yeah,
good.
sorry, I said the wrong word.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it again. And like you said, we're going to see Poison the Well again on the boat later this year.
Yep.
That's going to be a lot of fun to see.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
those shows are just so much. I don't say they're more fun, but there's just a different vibe and energy
Oh, yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
So seeing it in that sort of atmosphere is going to be entertaining.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. Yeah, it'll be fun to watch. Just this next year on the boat, like also just seeing people walk around in the crowd. Like, I mean, the entire band walked through the crowd to get to the stage and stuff. And even the guy standing in front of me was like, when the lead vocalist went through, he was like, "Oh yeah, you need to be on the stage." Like, and I was just like, "Oh, that must be somebody in the band," because I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Anyway, good start to 2024. More
Yeah.
live music coming
Yeah.
down the road for us, and hopefully more live music for you too.
Yep.
So yeah, go check out some live music.
Yep. Bye.